We're going to be talking about Taiwan, the small island nation in Asia that has everybody's attention right now. Globally, Taiwan is actually very, very important to us. So today we're going to discuss why. Let's waste no time. Let's get right into the content today. Before we do, if you like content like this, leave a comment down below letting me know what you think. Make sure you subscribe for more content like this and hit that thumbs up button for me. So Taiwan is a small island nation in East Asia with about 23 million inhabitants. So it's not a very large, a massive country, but it's not a puny, tiny one either. And as far as on a global scale, contributes to about 1% of global gross domestic production. So again, not your biggest player in the game, but not an insignificant person as well. Now, on that global scale, when it comes to some of its neighboring countries like China and Japan, titans in the global world, as far as population goes, as far as GDP goes, it's not quite that big. So compared to them, it might seem, somewhat insignificant because of its size. But Taiwan is a very, very important country on a global scale for a lot of different reasons. Politically, what's made Taiwan always interesting is that China has claimed authority over Taiwan. So the one China policy where Taiwan is still a part of China. But for decades and decades, for the longest, Taiwan has operated as its own government. They have their own president, their own system, everything outside of China. China is actually a trade partner to Taiwan. So if you look at it from that angle, you're talking about two different governments that trade with each other, different presidents, different political systems, but China has always claimed authority over Taiwan, and for the longest, the status quo just worked. China would say what they want, the rhetoric that they have. Taiwan would operate, continue to develop their economy, quality of life, continuing to grow up, a lot of freedoms in Taiwan as well. But recently, a lot of this has kind of just spiraled, went into different directions with different politicians from the United States visiting Taiwan. That this has really, really upset China. And China, this is one thing that they've said for the longest, just don't play around when it comes to Taiwan, and we're starting to see it now. So they let it be known, we do not approve of these politicians going there. One China policy, that is, you could talk to us, you do not speak directly to Taiwan. US politicians obviously have their own agenda. I'm not going to really touch on the political side of this in this video, but did visit Taiwan, which basically lets the world know that the United States sees Taiwan as its own independent government. Really upset China, and now China's conducting military drills, really amping up in the region. Some have said that, the military drills that they're seeing, this looks like if China was to invade Taiwan, this is the way that they would do it. So a very tense political situation right now that also has the military involved. So a very hot, sensitive stuff that's going on in Taiwan right now. So in a nutshell, that is the situation that is going on in Taiwan right now. But why is this tiny island nation so significant to the rest of the world? So Taiwan's GDP is actually really impressive on scale. For the size that the country is, their gross domestic production is actually pretty significant. It looks good. For the global economy, for the world, the thing with Taiwan that matters the most is their technology sector. So we're looking at their semiconductors specifically. So we're thinking about chips. So when it comes to chips, smart semiconductors, so we're thinking about things that go into our phones, that make our phones work the way they need to. The cars, the electronic things that we have in our cars right now, from the Bluetooth to the technology and different features that newer cars have now, chips and semiconductors get it done. Other electronics as well, things that we use on a daily basis, they need chips. And in Taiwan, this is their bread and butter. Now there is other parts to their economy as well. Other part, it's not just a one-dimensional economy, but for the globe, for the world, it is that part of their economy that's very important to us now. On a global scale, they produce such a large amount of the chips or the semiconductors necessary for, at this point, with how far technology has come, just daily essential things that we need. And sometimes it's for everyday services as well. Different parts of our lives, they also use different forms of technology, and best believe semiconductors and chips get a lot of this work done. So it's that part of Taiwan's economy that we're really focusing, that we're really looking at. And they're not the only country. I know they're not the only country that's making semiconductors, but on a global scale, and this just so happened to end up turning out that way, to where they do produce a very, very large portion of it for the globe. And if we did have, the political tension that we see right now, if we had a spillover and an actual war started, a physical confrontation between countries that was fought on Taiwan, at some point you're going to risk destruction to infrastructure. So the actual factories and the places where these things get made, if you were to get damage to the factories where the semiconductors are made, you're going to talk about, we already have a chip shortage. So if you have a chip shortage now, and then you get an even further slowdown, maybe even a stoppage, depending on how bad it gets, you're talking about, on a global scale, this can be a catastrophe. This can be very bad for a lot of different reasons. Because if we don't have the semiconductors, the chips that we need, the technology that we use right now that's already pretty expensive, those numbers are just going to skyrocket. It's going to be almost astronomical. So much of the middle class right now that enjoys these luxuries, it'll kind of be taken away from a lot of people because of the price increases. And even on top of that, how many jobs right now, when you think about in the auto industry, cell phones, so many different stores that sell these things, employ so many different people. At a certain point, if you don't have the chips, the semiconductors, those jobs run out, those jobs run dry. Talking about job cuts, global scale, all over the world, it would be an absolute catastrophe to lose access to semiconductors, to chips that are absolutely essential, not just for what we do in life, but also they employ a lot of people as well. So from a couple different angles, you gotta keep your eye on what's going on in Taiwan. And I know different parts of the world at this point, they're looking to, rev up semiconductor production in other areas, but these things take time. And right now the political tension is very hot in Taiwan. So it's definitely something for all of us to keep an eye on.